Hey up you lot, welcome back to the channel. Usual shout outs to start with. Jason, love the idea of bin it or sell it, mate. You should definitely crack on with that ASAP. I can't wait to see which titles you're going to be getting rid of. I think Gladiator is probably going to be one of them from the post that you put on. I was quite surprised at that one actually. I saw that one many years ago, loved it. I think I would probably still like it now, but I don't know. What were your reasons for not liking it the second time round, just out of curiosity? The bin it or sell it, or bin it or keep it, or whatever. It is a cracking idea for thinning your collection out. I've probably got 10 or 15 that I've dug out, watched, and thought, never going to watch them again. And I've put them in a box for the charity shop. So it definitely works, but you definitely need to start that ASAP, because I really can't wait to see what you're going to bin and what you're going to sell. So yeah, whatever mate, just start posting the videos. Looking forward to that one. Caroline, what a lovely post that was about Barry Norman. That was a smashing surprise. I was only looking at that very post the day before, chatting with one of the younger lads at work. We were talking about Mark Commode and film reviews and this, that and the other, and I happened to mention Barry Norman, and he sort of looked at me perfectly straight faced and went, "Who's that?" Oh, wow, they don't have to make you feel old, don't they? Just for those of you that don't remember Barry Norman, and there can't be many of you, he was an earlier version of Mark Commode. He was the film guy. He did a BBC show for, it must have been 20-30 years. I believe it started in the mid-70s, just called Film, and it was followed by the year whatever, so it was Film 75, Film 76. It was absolutely essential viewing every single week if you wanted to know what was out at the cinema, and all that. I mean, we didn't have the internet back then, where you get all this information flooded at you instantaneously. Then you basically had to wait for either the film review magazines to come out, and there weren't many of those back then, or you had to watch Barry Norman. And he was just an absolute legend. And the post you put on, Caroline, the Star Wars one, was just a cracker. Absolutely superb. I'm hoping I'm going to have a look, see if I can find any more reviews of what I would class as classic films from the 70s, because I love hearing what he thought of movies like Star Wars. I'd love to find one of Close Encounters if there's one floating about. I did happen to find, as you know, a complete episode from the 80s, which I put on, and I haven't had a watch of it yet. I'm saving that one for a special occasion. What I would love to do is put that onto some kind of a hard disk and play it through the TV, which would take me right back. But Barry Norman was just a total legend. As soon as that music started, you knew you were in for half hour of absolute pure movie magic, and he never ever disappointed. As for Star Wars, you were saying that you've only seen the original trilogy. Personally, I don't think that's a bad thing. I love the original trilogy. I've seen it many times. I have seen the prequels, The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and whatever the one in the middle was that I can't remember. I've seen those once, not overly impressed. And I've seen The Force Awakens, which was the first third of the final trilogy. I've yet to see the following two, The Last Jedi and second one. I can't remember that one either. But I need to get those watched definitely. But I don't blame you for having seen only the original trilogy. They were the best. They will always be the best. Nothing will ever better them. You mentioned a movie called Forbidden Games, which I think was in one of Barry Norman's books of his top 100 movies. I feel sure that I've seen this a long time ago, but I definitely want to see it again. You made mention of the soundtrack, which piqued my interest straight away, so I need to have a look at that one. I've found a Blu-ray, so I may be purchasing that one very shortly to have a look at that. But yeah, that was a cracking post. Really, really good. It was just so good to watch it through, and also to hear your opinions on Barry and all that sort of thing. But yeah, total legend, absolutely. Let's see, Guy, your post for Blue Thunder, War Games, and American Ninja. Definitely seen Blue Thunder, definitely seen War Games. Haven't seen American Ninja, I'm afraid. Is that Michael Dudikoff or something like that? Not seen that one. We did talk a while ago about me doing a John Badham season, which would have included War Games and the other one, Blue Thunder. I've got my notes just below the tripod. I've actually sellotaped them to the bottom, so if I keep glancing down, do forgive me. There was another movie as well. I think Saturday Night Fever was another one, but you all pretty much know what I think of that one. But I'll get onto that. I'll check out the other movies that Badham has done. War Games was just superb. I remember seeing that must have been '83 when it first came out. And I mean, you watch it now. Back then, computers, only sort of rich kids really had them. Well, home PCs and that sort of thing. And they were a very different animal to what they are now. And obviously you watch War Games now, and that equipment seems so primitive. The telephone attached to the keyboard, that kind of thing. Totally different, but that's how it was back then. And Blue Thunder, Roy Scheider was superb, as he is in everything he does. And Malcolm McDowell was brilliant. I've loved Malcolm McDowell since I saw him in A Clockwork Orange, and I will watch anything that he's in. So yeah, I will definitely seek out the other Badham movies, and I'll do some sort of a season on those, like I promised I would do. Chris, you put a post on about sequels, and you probably mentioned actually the three that I would have picked if I'd have said looking for sequels that were better or as good as the originals, and you put down Aliens, Terminator 2, which was a groundbreaker in its day, the special effects, and Superman 2, which I definitely preferred to the original, mostly because of Terence Stamp, General Zod, Neil before Zod. Superb. You never forget that one. So yeah, that was a cracking post. I enjoyed that one. Still enjoying the movies that matter thread. Keep them coming, guys. I'm still putting the movies to die for, not to die for, movies to see before you die. I'm still trying to put on one a day. I do occasionally miss it, but what I'm going to start doing, I've got next week off work, so I'm going to be working on the website. I want to take it in a slightly different direction. I want to do it as a kind of a diary of what it is I'm watching, rather than just doing one review every couple of weeks and sticking it on there. I'm going to try and turn it into something slightly different. So I'm going to be working on that, and I'm also going to start scheduling Facebook posts. I don't normally get chances, to respond to a lot of posts during the week due to work and other commitments. So I thought it might be a cracking idea to schedule some posts on all three of the sites, RetroMovieZone, the TV one and the music one, up to the following weekend, which basically means I can just check out the comments and reply to those rather than spend time trying to find sort of records, songs, TV clips and that sort of thing to put on. So that's what I'm going to be doing next week, hopefully. And I also want to try and pre-record a couple of videos, so I'm sort of a couple of weeks ahead of myself, if possible. The only thing it will miss, and I'm not really sure how to get around it, is doing what I've just done, which is responding to posts. Maybe I could do that as a separate thing, or I don't know. I've got to look at that. But by all means, keep on posting, guys, because I need things to talk about, if that makes any sense. It's all very well. A lot of people say, "Oh, go longer, go longer." I can't go longer if I've got nothing to say. So apart from the chat about sort of reviews and stuff like that, you guys keep on posting, and anything that you think will either irritate, annoy, or pique my interest, pop it on there, because it'll give me something to have a blast about on sort of Sunday mornings. So yeah, keep the posts coming. You put one on, Jace, about a movie called Long Weekend. I believe you fell asleep 2 or 3 times during that one. I saw it a long, long time ago. Isn't it an Australian nature fights back type of thing? I haven't seen it for ages. I do remember enjoying it, but I can't remember why I enjoyed it, if that makes any sense. I need to dig that one out again. Great fan of Australian cinema. So yeah, I do need to have another look at that. But what was it that made you fall asleep? Was it just boring? Just curious. I think that's pretty much all the posts that I've responded to. Now, a couple of quick reviews. What have I been watching? Okay, let's get this one out of the way first. The Man Who Fell to Earth. I've been banging on about this one for a few weeks. The TV series adaptation of the Bowie classic from '74. Now, I managed to get hold of the first episode. I watched it this morning, and I am very, very pleased to report that I thoroughly enjoyed it. What you have to do, I think, is basically put aside all thoughts of the original movie and just enjoy it for what it is. Just to give you a brief idea, and I do need to watch the original movie again now because I've not seen it for a while, just to see how it compares to this one. And I'm also tempted to purchase the paperback that it was based on to have a read of that as well. But it begins with the lead character, and I can't remember his name, walking on to a stage with thousands and thousands of people in the audience. He's a kind of an Elon Musk billionaire type character who's basically trying to tell the story of how he came to be, what he was, and also holding up a tiny little box and saying that he's got the next stage of what they call the timeline, which I presume is sort of evolution, that kind of thing, in this little box, which we're yet to find out what it is. And then we go back to the moment when he landed or fell to earth. It is obviously completely different to the original movie. It's very, very well done. I take back everything I said about the geezer that plays the lead. He's very, very good. In fact, everybody in this is very, very good. It's very adult. It's not. It's a sci-fi, obviously, but it's an adult sci-fi. It's not something you want to put on in front of the family. The language is a bit raw in places. But the whole idea of it is just superb. I really, really enjoyed it, and I wasn't expecting to say that. What I was expecting was to come on here and say, no, it won't work. Bowie is the only one that can play this. There's no way it's ever going to work, and I take it all back. I don't know how it's going to shape up. I can only grab hold of one episode a week, so it's not like I can binge watch it. But if the rest of it shapes up the way the opening episode did, I think we're in for a pretty good series. I'm just hoping they don't do what they normally do with these things. The Americans have a nasty habit of doing season 1, season 2, season 8, season 9, to the point where the whole thing just becomes completely boring. It'd be nice if it was a self-contained 1, possibly 2 season series, which bears a slight resemblance to obviously the paperback novel and the original movie. That would be nice. I'm really hoping that, just because if it does end up a success, they normally end up saying, oh, we'll have another season, oh, that one's done well, we'll do another one, oh, I want another one. It does really get boring. The prime example of that is Lost. Anybody remember Lost? Couldn't make head and tail of it. I watched it and absolutely loved it. And it was one of these series that just when you get to the end of the season and you think you're going to get some answers as to where this island is and what the hell it's all about, it veers off in another direction and it's all over the place again. And I think there was something like 10 seasons, and it drove me nuts. I think I stuck with it probably till season 8 or 9, and I literally couldn't stand it anymore. And I thought, do you know what? This is not. We're never going to get any answers on this. And after the final season had aired, I actually bumped into somebody who'd watched the final season, and I said to him, please tell me that what it was all about. He says, I don't know, no idea. He says it just left you with more answers than with more questions than answers. So I'm really glad I never bothered with that last season, and I kind of wish I'd not bothered with the other 9 or 10 because none of it made any sense. It was very watchable, very good series, but it was just too long. So, and that's what I'm hoping they don't do with The Man Who Fell to Earth, because, as I say, that opening episode is superb. If they keep that up throughout the first season or the entire season, it's going to be worth watching. But I'll keep you posted on that one. But yeah, I take back everything I said. Completely wrong. Yeah, I admit I was wrong on that one. So we'll see how it goes anyway. Pete's Run a Movie Night. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark from 2019. I believe it's based on a kids' TV series. I didn't realise this until I'd watched it, and I actually looked it up. Not bad. Bunch of teens on Halloween visit a supposedly haunted house. They pull a book off the shelf containing scary stories written by the old lady who used to live in the house. It wasn't bad for what it was. It's not one I'd watch again. Loads of jump scares in there. Most of them made me jump. It doesn't take much to do that nowadays. My nerves are shot anyway, so it doesn't take much to make me jump. But yeah, it made me jump in all the right places. The special effects were good. Couple of really gross out scenes of a kid turning into a scarecrow. That was very nice. And a sequence with spiders, which everybody who knows me knows I can't stand spiders. That one really hit home. But it wasn't bad. I wouldn't watch it again. But yeah, it's worth a look if you've got nothing else to do and there's nothing else on the TV and you just fancy a few cheap jump scares, go for it. I would say that's worth a look. That's called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. You'll find that on iPlayer at the moment for at least the next 24 days or something like that. So yeah, have a go at that. Right, bin it or keep it for this week. The Riot Club. Now, the Riot Club is what the Americans would call a fraternity. It's a group of guys at a very exclusive, high-end college who formed a club back in the 1700s or 1800s, and it's been going ever since at this college. I think it's Oxford. They are banned from every venue within like 100 miles because of their outrageously nasty, horrible, antisocial behaviour. The club contains 10 people. Has always contained 10 people. There are 2 vacancies, so they basically get 2 more guys. Now, Steve McCartney messaged me on this one underneath the post and basically said that it's based on a stage show called Posh, and that it is a tough watch. And he's absolutely right, it is. They basically behave like complete dicks, rich dicks at that. They're just basically throwing money at everything, and it all culminates in going for a meal at a pub in the middle of nowhere called the Bull's Head. And their behaviour basically sort of results in the room that they occupy being completely smashed up, the landlord being beaten to a pulp. It is a horrible, horrible film, really. I'd hate to think that people like this really do exist. It's got on the front, as you can see, Best British Film of the Year. Not sure about that. But it is really good. If you've not seen it, I'd definitely recommend it if you want to watch a bunch of upper class knobs acting like complete dicks for 2 hours and that knock yourselves out. That's definitely worth watch. As for Bin It or Keep It, I don't think it's one that I'll watch again. It was, as Steve said, very, very unpleasant, which I suppose is testament to the acting, because I'm sure these guys aren't really like that. I bloody hope not anyway. But yeah, the Riot Club is definitely going to the charity shop. I don't think it's one that I should watch again. I'm glad I've seen it. God knows what the stage show must have been like. I dread to think. But yeah, that's a definite one for the charity shop. So that'll be going there. Now, final corner for this week. It's this film basically, Times Square. I've loved this for years. This was released in 1980. Stars Tim Curry. Do you remember Tim Curry from the Rocky Horror Picture Show? Stars him as a DJ. And what you've got is a rich girl and a tough girl runaway in a psychiatric hospital together. They escape and basically become street legends thanks to this DJ that is in constant touch with them through his radio broadcasts. Absolutely brilliant movie. Jason, I think you put a post on about it. I'm sure you did. Now the soundtrack. I'll go back just slightly for this one. Here we go. This, go back a bit more. An amazing soundtrack. That's what saves this movie from being just another sort of social drama. Is the soundtrack. You've got everybody on here. You've got the Pretenders, Susie Quattro, Roxy Music, Gary Newman, Talking Heads, Joe Jackson, the Ramones, the Cure, Patti Smith, loads, Lou Reed, the Ruts. A cracking soundtrack. It's another gatefold sleeve. Here we go. Hang on. There you go. Can you see that? I can't see it. But yeah, I played this to death when I first got it, and I would love to be able to get this on CD, but it is not available anywhere. I searched for about half an hour on various sites last night trying to find a CD copy, and it absolutely is not available anywhere. So if anybody knows where you can get a CD copy of the soundtrack to Times Square, please let me know, because I would love to purchase it. Otherwise I'm going to have to download the individual. What the bleeding happened there? Technology, isn't it wonderful when it works? I don't know what happened there. Something cut out. I suddenly realised it wasn't recording anymore. I was very, very tempted to just do the whole thing all over again, possibly tomorrow morning, and then post it next weekend. But I thought, no, sod it. I have no idea. I promised I wouldn't use that clapperboard thing ever again. Sorry, Dave. I didn't realise that the green screen behind it was not actually supposed to be there. But if anybody knows of a better way of linking scenes similar to that, please let me know. Because obviously I shouldn't be using that clapperboard thing. So, right, I'll try and finish off the last 5 minutes or so without anything else going wrong with a bit of luck. I think I was talking about Times Square, and I was saying that if anybody knows of where I can pick up a copy on CD, official CD, just let me know. Otherwise I'm going to end up basically downloading the individual tracks off YouTube and popping them onto like a bootleg CD. But let me know if you can think of anything on there. The other thing I normally do is movie tie-in books. I did one last week. Can't remember what it was now. This week's Witchfinder General. This is the original novel upon which the film was based, and obviously it is based on fact anyway. I've tried reading this once and couldn't quite get into it, so I need to try it again. But it's an old one, this. I think this actual paperback dates back to, it must be the 70s, because look at the colour of the pages, very yellowed. So that's a really old one, but I need to watch that. And the other Witchfinder General book, while I'm about it, that I've got, is this one, Devil's Advocate, which is roughly the making of the movie and all that kind of thing. I've not tried reading this one yet. It goes very in depth, but I'm really looking forward to having a look at that one. Right, the only thing to do now before this that little faux pas there has made me realise that I need to start using that new camcorder, which is gathering dust very, very nicely in the cupboard right next to me, instead of using this crap old phone. And something like that was bound to happen sooner or later, so maybe I should dedicate part of this week to getting that out of its box and learning how to use it, get some proper equipment sorted. So the only thing left to do now, before anything else goes wrong, is quote encounters. So this is this week's. What was last week's? Did you get it? I can't remember. That mistake has completely thrown me, totally thrown me off. I can't remember what last week's was. Anyway, this week's goes something like this. He wasn't a very good swimmer. He should have been watched every minute. We can go now, dear. That's it. I think I got that right. As I say, everything has gone tits up thanks to that mistake. Right, I'm going to sign off now before the phone explodes or whatever the hell. Thanks for joining me, folks. If you've enjoyed the video, including all the mistakes, just give us a thumbs up and also subscribe. That would be amazing. And as I say, keep the posts coming because I do need stuff to react to. I'll be trying to post this a little bit later on. I'm going to have to do a little bit of splicing and editing on this one. But as I say, if anybody can think of a little 2-second break type thing like the clapperboard without a green screen on it that I can use if ever this happens again, please let me know. I'll be very grateful. Right, have a great weekend, folks, what's left of it, and I will talk to you all again next week. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Take care, you lot. Ta-da.